This is a one speaker meeting, and please help me welcome Lenny. Lenny! Speaker is, hold on, Kenny L. Sorry. Lenny K.
Ahoy, mateys! I'll tell you one thing, this ain't no fucking glum lot here. Oh, my name's Kenny Lombino, and I am an alcoholic. How the fuck are you? Boy, I was told this was quite a group, and this is quite a group. First off, let me thank Richard for giving me the honor to come here tonight and speak. I'm presuming this is mine? Yeah. Thank you. Very nice. You brought me water. I had to park 3 fucking blocks away because no speaker spot. But thank you very much for the water. Arr, arr. I love this. But I do want to thank Richard for giving me the honor to come and speak. It is actually an honor to come here and talk about recovery and to participate in such a fucking happening, man. I mean, we're sober and we're like acting this way, you know, sober. You may not want to tell anybody, but no, but it's an honor to be here. So thank you, Richard. I've known Richard for a long time, 24. Well, I guess I've known him, although I forgot, but for over 25 years. And whew, it's an amazing adventure, and Lisa was right, and happy birthday, in that we definitely were skinny back then. We were. I can attest to it. However, as hot as the girls are now, I remember the chicks, and Mickey will attest, very hot. I mean, disco had just ended, and punk was in full swing. I mean, it was and cocaine was still kind of not really quite habit forming yet. They didn't know anything about it. So it was a great time to be in the little cult, and we're supposed to talk about what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And I can tell you that when I came into the program, I was skinny. I had long hair. I was quite attractive, actually, and I listened to K-Rock, and now I'm rather wide, and my hair is shorter and grayer, and I listen to the fucking Wave, Who said that? Thank you, Sean. Thank you. God, I got to get something off of my chest first off, and I don't have a lot of time. But today, and I've been sober. Well, if I don't die, and I don't do something stupid, a little over 3 months from now, March the 9th, I'll celebrate 26 years of sobriety, all right? Oh, thank you. How about an arr, arr? But today, the first time in all of this time ever, I got completely fucking freaked out with an experience that brought me right back to before I got to these rooms, that was so vivid and so real that I immediately had to make 3 phone calls to AA members, and thank God I was coming to a meeting. And this is what happened. It's December, it's the end of the year, so we got to use up all the medical benefits, or we got to start a new deductible in January. And I got some fluid, behind the eardrum. So I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna go to the doctor. So I go to the doctor, and he used to stick this, Steven Spielberg kind of camera thing down my fucking nose. And Richard said I could be myself here, so I could say fuck, right? It's okay? It's okay, right, okay. Well, in a loving way, I love all of you, fuck off. So he says, I'm gonna stick this thing down your nose, but I'm gonna shoot your nose up with Novocaine. All right. Now, at first, I didn't think about it, because Novocaine's what I get when I go to the dentist, and that just makes me, does that? For the first time in almost 26 years, I had a cocaine drip going down my back, and it completely freaked me out. Now, I didn't get, it wasn't a high, and it certainly, thank God, didn't bring back an obsession, but there I was, almost 26 years later, actually feeling that drip. And I mean, every horrible memory of that time period came back. And I mean, I tell the doctor I was freaked out. I have never, most of us during sobriety will have, an occurrence that accidentally, you'll be at a party, you'll take a sip of what you thought was a Diet Coke, and it may have something in it, and you spit it out and you freak out. But this, because it was cocaine that brought me to my knees. And I mean, immediately, I just went to the telephone. I just picked up that cell phone, and I had to tell 3 people right away what had just happened. And I had to pray to God, to thank God for my sobriety, to thank God that the obsession didn't come, and to thank God for the vivid memory of how bad it was. And that happened today. And all I kept thinking was, I was going to get to go to a meeting. Now, for me, when I get to speak at a meeting, I don't consider it with the same weight as when I go to a meeting, because I'm the speaker, so I'm like, I'm at the podium. It's not like when I go to the meeting when I'm just sitting there and I'm just one amongst all of us. But all I wanted to do was get here and to be around alcoholics and to be able to share this, not to share it from the podium, but to share with you that it freaked me the fuck out. And I hope that I never have to feel that again. But again, I'm just grateful that what it gave me was this horrible memory, because I am an alcoholic, but I am an alcoholic of the cocaine addict variety. And, you too?
Big time. I have an announcement. If somebody's got a white PT Cruiser in the church parking lot.
White PT Cruiser, church parking lot?
I'm sorry to intrude on you. A white PT
Here,
Cruiser.
Yeah.
No. A white PT Cruiser in the church parking lot, they're going to lock the gate. You got to move your car. Sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
We got it. Anybody in here? We got it. And how long are you sober?
Right here, give me a break.
It's progress, not perfection, right? Dude, cool. It's cool. What was I saying? What it was like. Yeah, right, okay.
Alcoholic of the cocaine.
Yeah, right, exactly. Mickey's always listed. I am an alcoholic of the cocaine addict variety. So, anyway, so to feel that we forgive you. It's okay. No more apologies necessary.
Hey, sorry.
He's being thorough. Yes, well, I'll show how long. Never mind. God, I don't know what the fuck where I was going with that. But thank God. Thank God for Alcoholics Anonymous. That's the deal, okay? Because I had phone numbers to call. I had people who related, people who understood. I knew I was coming here. I had no idea what I was in store for to come here, but I knew I was coming here. And all of that made me feel okay. Now, it took about a half hour for that feeling to leave, and I just focused on all the good stuff. Now, I will tell you that, oh, by the way, did I mention that I am a compulsive overeater as well? No, but I am, although I'm on a slip, so, but, fuck it! I was just in Italy for 3 weeks, and which was, I had an audience with the Pope. It was amazing, but I didn't get to shake his hand though. But but I knew going there, not that there's an OA meeting, but I said, what the fuck, there ain't no way I'm not gonna eat any pasta and pizza, so forget it. So I got to go back and write an inventory. Powerless over pizza makes my life unmanageable. not good for the love life either, you know. Girls don't look at me the same as they did 25 years ago. But I'm a sweeter guy, more mellow. Although it depends who you're talking to because, you know. Anyway. I got an ex-girlfriend, she's mad at me. I came here because drugs and alcohol stopped working the way they were supposed to. I mean, I don't have tons of time here to go into all of this stuff. We all know why we got here. For me, that was the deal. Cocaine became a drag. Alcohol became a drag. Everything I fucking tried to do became a drag. That's not what I signed up for. I signed up for, you know, fun and fireworks and great feelings and you know, and touchy-feely emotions. And, you know, I wanted to be like I was on Quaaludes all the time, you know, with a little, you know, cocaine balancing. And, coupled with a little Stoli, you know, and it stopped. It just stopped, you know. What was happening was I was paranoid. I was behaving in a schizophrenic fashion. I was becoming everything I stood against, you know. Lisa talked about being from the East Coast. You know, when you're from the East Coast and of Italian descent, you're brought up with this, you know, this code of ethics, you know, that you're supposed to abide by. And I don't know what the chick's code of ethics is, but the guy's code of ethics is, you know, that you will be a man, you will have integrity, you know, your word means something. And I became, you know, a liar, a cheat, and a thief. You know, I became a failed cocaine dealer, and I cut the shit out of the coke, and, you know, I lied about it, and everything that I stood for, I became that person who I thought I would never be. And I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. Now, I had no idea that I had an obsession of the mind with an allergy of the body. I had no idea about the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I had no idea about the steps. All I knew is that when I drank, I wound up doing cocaine. When I wound up doing cocaine, I wound up being up for 3 or 4 days, and I felt horrible. And I saw things that weren't there. I mean, one time at 4:30 in the morning, in a torrential rainstorm, as vividly as I see this pretty young girl right here, I looked out my balcony, and there was a friend of mine who was a banjo player playing dueling banjos in front of my house. He was there. He was there. I knew he was there, but yet I called him up to see if he was there. And the fucker answered the phone. He was not very happy with me when I said, "Were you just outside my house playing dueling banjos?" That's where cocaine brought me, you know. I had brilliant ideas under the influence of cocaine. I love this story. In one of my gazillion attempts to try to stop using it, I thought that what I would do, this was a brilliant plan, I would have my best friend, I'd give him the coke, all my coke, I'd give him the list of all my clients, the triple beam, the deering, the cut, the whole thing, and I said, listen, $500 a week, all the cocaine you could snort, under no circumstances are you to give me any cocaine. Got it? Who would not take that deal? And this is 1982, $500 a week cash was a lot of money. He took the deal, an hour into the deal. I called him up. I said, David, listen, I forgot to tell you about Neil. Neil doesn't trust anybody. He's not going to meet you. I got to pick up the gram, all right? I wound up paying fucking retail for my own cocaine. How brilliant is that? $125 a gram in those days. So I had heard about Alcoholics Anonymous, and I had heard about Cocaine Anonymous. And I was talking to my friend. For those of you who have heard me before, you know the story, but for those of you who haven't, I'll tell you anyway. It's a cute little story. I was talking to my friend from Ethiopia named Wusin Kifle. And it was about, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're talking about alcohol. Alcoholics Anonymous and sobriety and what it's like to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. And he had just come back from a meeting earlier that night. He was the food guy at the rodeo meeting. And he used to make deviled eggs, which I thought was very fucking weird, that alcoholics would eat deviled eggs. But I didn't mention that. So he's telling me all about sobriety, you know, as we're rolling a couple of joints. He didn't quite get it, but I didn't know that. So as he passes me the joint, and I go, so Woosin, what do you do in this Alcoholics Anonymous when you want to drink? He said, well, you tell somebody you want to drink. I said, you tell him? He says, yeah. I said, well, what happens if, like, it's now? I said, what if you want to drink now? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you going to do? He says, you call somebody. I said, you call somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning? He says, yeah. I says, well, what do you tell him? He says, you tell him you want to drink. I said, well, what do they tell you? He said, they tell you don't drink. So I wanted nothing to do with fucking Alcoholics Anonymous. I could tell myself to don't drink. I told myself a million times don't drink. It didn't work. And you fucking eat deviled eggs. But Cocaine Anonymous sounded a little bit more sexy. Anyway, I made a phone call, and it's a phone that has saved my life literally thousands of times in Alcoholics Anonymous. Thousands of times. I made a phone call. I made a phone call to a guy who was a member of CA and AA. Told him I wanted to go to a meeting. He said, fine, I'll be right over. I said, well, I don't want to go now, but I said, drive me to the airport, and I'm going to go to Hawaii and chill out. Well, I actually didn't say chill out. They didn't say that back then. I said, drive me to the airport. I'm going to go to Hawaii and whatever. And I'll come back, and then you can take me to one of those meetings. Now, I knew nothing about sobriety in those days, all right? Nothing. I hadn't been to the meeting. I knew about the deviled eggs and the phone calls. So in Hawaii, I smoked pot and I drank. All I wanted to do was not do cocaine. When I came back, I went to my first meeting, and Richard and I were talking about it tonight because he was at my first meeting. Richard was. I don't know if you were at my first meeting, but I met Neil like in my first week. In fact, when I was a newcomer, Neil, raise your hand, please, so they know who I'm talking about. Neil. Yeah, Neil. Neil gave me his phone number. Neil did 12-step work with me. But, so I went to this meeting, and it was like 20 people, and it was a Cocaine Anonymous meeting because I was too stuck up to go to AA because, you know, those alcoholics hang out at 5th and Main in raincoats. And there was a celebrity speaker, and there was questions and answers, and they gave out chips. So immediately I put my hand up. What do you got to do to get one of those chips? First fucking meeting, right away I want to talk, you know. And, you know, typical alcoholic, you know, egomaniac, inferiority complex. But I wanted to tell you how, you know, I had not done cocaine for 2 weeks. Anyway, they said chips are sobriety, total abstinence, nothing that affects you from the neck up for 30 days. Nothing that affects you, you know, no pot, no pills, no, you know, no coke, no booze, no nothing. And I said, well, you don't understand. And the whole place laughed. And I said, you don't understand, I don't have a problem with pot. And then some dick in the back of the room, you know, says, loud enough for me to hear, well, if you don't have a problem with pot, then it won't be a problem to not use it, will it? It was like, fuck you, you know? But that's where it started. Now, did I know that that day, which was March the 9th, 1983, was going to be this journey that has led me to be here tonight to talk about, you know, being powerless over pizza and getting all upset because the doctor put Novocaine down my nose? No. But nobody said that. All anybody said to me was, keep coming back. Don't drink, don't use, a day at a time, keep coming back. And they also said all the other stuff that we hear. Work the steps. Where are they? Over there, over here. Over there. Work the steps. Get a sponsor. Get commitments. Get phone numbers. I like that part because it was, you know, good-looking girls. And I said, and they said, if you want what we have, and are willing to go to any length to get it, and I was very willing. And still am. That's right. Yes, still am. And I'm single. No. For some reason, I was lucky that I got the concept that you don't drink a day at a time or use a day at a time today. And I did a lot of little things to to help me stay sober, and I'll rattle them out real quick. But as I said earlier, the telephone was the greatest thing, because I can't tell you how many times, I can't tell you. It was many, many, many times that I would call somebody up at 12:30 at night, 1:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, and say, I want a drink. And invariably, the person who answered the phone would always talk to me, would always, God bless you, would always say what I needed to hear to get through that moment, which became another moment which got me through the day, and I didn't get loaded. So the telephone saved my ass. The steps, learning how to work those steps, saved my ass. Having a sponsor who would give me the direction as to what I should do saved my ass. And going to a meeting every day. Now, I can tell you honestly, I hated Alcoholics Anonymous. I hated it all the time. I hated it every day for almost 4 years, and every single day for almost 4 years, I wanted to drink. I had a big resentment how I, a man who has a little cocaine problem, comes into this group and you all fucking tell me you can't smoke no pot and you can't have a little Stoli, a little scotch. Had a big resentment with that. Nevertheless, this is what I did. I made a commitment that I will not drink or use today no matter what, unless I told somebody first, and answering machines didn't count. Now remember, in those days we didn't have fucking cell phones, we didn't have computers, we had phone-made answering machines with a little tape recorder that would, would rewind. So that didn't count. I had to get somebody on the telephone and say to you, I'm drinking, fuck you, your program sucks, goodbye. And I did, lots of times. And again, they would say something to me. I did a couple of other things. There was a big egotistical, big strapping, pompous asshole of a guy whose name I won't mention, Tony Moorhead, who gave me the finger in the chest, okay? Now, he's like up to here on me. He's a Vietnam vet, helicopter pilot, and he gave me the finger in the chest and said, punk, you'll never stay sober. And I looked at fucking up at him, and I said, oh yeah? Well, fuck you. You'll give me a cake when I get a year, and I will embarrass you in front of the whole group. And I'm here to tell you, that resentment kept me sober. All I thought about every fucking time I wanted to drink, every time I wanted to drink, I thought about the smirk he would give me if I was lucky enough to come back and raise my hand as a newcomer. Kenny Lupino, I drank, I slipped. And he'd be looking at me like, loser. And that kept me sober. And that was a resentment, but it kept me sober. And I did get that year, and I did have him give me a cake, and I did embarrass him. I made an amends afterwards. My girlfriend, who later became my fiance, was still with us at that time, and we had come up with a great idea. We thought it was the greatest idea in the world. We were going to come to meetings, be involved, get commitments, do all the things, work the steps, set up, all of it, stay sober a year, get a cake, go on vacation, Quaaludes and cocaine. 2 weeks, come back, restart. Sounds logical, doesn't it? Great idea. Told my sponsor. We said, don't worry about it, it's fine. You got a year today? No, don't worry about it then. And unfortunately, rather, when the year came up, one of the spiritual awakenings of the many that I've had occurred, and I didn't want to get loaded, And the other resentment that kept me sober, this was a great one. Alcoholics were full of drama. We want to go out all the time. I said, I'll get a year of sobriety. I'll go to Rodeo. I'll wear a suit. I'll have a little a little pint of Stoli in my inside breast pocket. And I would say to you, I have worked your program. I have stayed sober a year. I've worked all 12 steps diligently with a sponsor. Did all the writing on all the steps. And I'm here to tell you my experience. I think your program sucks. And right now, in front of all of you, because I got big balls, I'm going to make a decision to drink. Watch this. And that kept me sober. But what happened to me is I did work the steps, and I did listen to others. And you hear so many of these cliches around here, but more will be revealed. And more was revealed, and I realized I was a fucking alcoholic. 11 months sober, I watched that woman I was going to marry, I watched her die in front of me. We were both skydivers, and on our 84th parachute jump was her last. You know, and I've been going to these meetings for 11 months, hearing the stories that we hear, you know, and I knew I had every reason, and nobody could fuck with me and say I didn't have a reason to drink. You know, no one should watch their loved one die. But I've been coming to these meetings, been hearing all these stories, and I knew that drinking wasn't going to make her stand up. And I drove 120 miles back from the desert, and I went to a meeting. And the people of Alcoholics Anonymous rallied around me. There were meetings at my house. People didn't leave me alone. They said, you can get through it, and they helped me through it. And I want to end it with this. There's so many stories I could tell you, but I don't have the time. But the biggest problem that I had was that I always still thought it was about money, property, and prestige. Where's mine? I didn't really surrender. I had worked the steps. Nobody would tell you that I didn't, but I didn't really grasp the concept. And at almost 4 years of sobriety, I had a scotch in my hands. And as I brought that scotch to my lips, I remember the speaker I'd heard who said, when she was in that predicament, she said, "Dear God, help me not drink." And I said, "Dear God, help me not drink." I put the scotch down, I picked up a Marlboro Light, and I wasn't a smoker at the time, but I picked up the cigarette and I smoked it, and it got me through the moment. I made a phone call, and I called somebody, I told them what happened, and they came out. I was in New York, and they came out at night in a cab, and they took me to a meeting. And this whole issue went on for a couple of weeks, but I wound up in Chicago with the obsession to drink and use every day, and I've been going to meetings every day, and I'd shared about it, and these two newcomers befriended me. And these two newcomers hung out with me all day, every day, and took me to meetings every day. One of them was out of work, so he'd hang out with me as I did my job. And they wanted nothing from me. They wanted nothing. They were doing it for fun and for free. And then it finally fucking dawned on me that what the primary purpose of an alcoholic is, and what this program is, my primary purpose. It's your primary purpose as well, but I'll only talk about me. My primary purpose is to stay sober and help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. It's not about anything else, not about money, property, prestige, relationships, weight loss, weight gain, nothing. It's about the fact that I'm a fucking drunk. I'm a drunk. I'm a drug addict. That's my natural state of being. I've been given a reprieve. I've been given a gift from God. Whatever concept of a higher power that you have, He gave it to me, He gave it to you, and the only way that I can keep it is by staying sober and be willing to put my hand out to another alcoholic. I say my last name and my phone number is listed because you could find me. You're going to drink at 3 o'clock in the morning, you could call me. You had a fight with your girlfriend, call somebody else. But you're going to drink. You're going to drink, you could call me, you know. And I don't say that and I don't do that because I'm a nice guy, because I'm not. But people did it for me. I'm sober here today, almost over 25 years, because people like you listen to my bullshit over and over and over. Ask Neil, ask Mickey, they were there, they heard it, me whine for fucking years. My life is beyond whatever my dreams were after getting into sobriety, beyond that. I mean, if you would have told me my life would be like it is today, I would have never believed it. All I did, and all you have to do, is not drink or use a day at a time, just today, and your life, like my life, will get a lot better. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. Thank you very, very much. Happy holidays.